See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The Atco Dragway Thrill Show, Saturday, June 4th at the Atco Dragway on Jackson Road in Atco. Tickets are $25 for adults and just $1 for kids ages 5 through 10. Find more info at atcodragway.rocks.
Sports is what we do.
Segura from a knee throws him out.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
Oh, what a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Thursday edition of Game Night and the PGA Championship is going on. Phillies lose again. Get to all that and more right now. Of course, the NBA playoffs continue tonight. Game 2 of the Celtics and the Heat. You can hear the coverage beginning at 8 p.m. tonight on 97.3 ESPN FM. It looks like that Marcus Smart will be back, as I figured he would yesterday. Also, it looks like it hasn't been officially confirmed, but Al Horford has been cleared to play. Now, my assumption is as long as he's clearing protocols, he should be good to go. I don't know what his health condition is. You know, some of the people who test positive for COVID, you know, they actually were sick. Some of them are not sick. I don't know his health situation, but I'm assuming that he's a full good to go tonight. So is Marcus Smart. So it theoretically should be a very different kind of game tonight. Now, Derek White is out for tonight's game. Apparently, he had to fly back to Boston for the birth of his first child. So while the Celtics get their starting point guard back in Marcus Smart, they're losing their backup point guard in Derek White. So it'll be interesting to see how that impacts this series. I think the Horford coming back should be probably the biggest concern for Miami, because Horford is going to make life very difficult for Bam Adebayo and Dwayne Dedmon. And Adebayo, with no Horford on the court in game 1 the other night, on Tuesday night, he didn't do much. So there's a part of me that wonders, man, now Horford's back. Is Adebayo even going to be an effective part of this team moving forward? Marcus Smart brings a lot of stability to this team, so I'm less angsty about that one than I am for Miami about Horford. I think it's going to be a very close game tonight. I know it's only +1 on the betting spread, so I feel pretty comfortable saying that, you know, you have a situation tonight where I think the biggest thinking come out of this game is if Miami can win this game, it's going to be huge. It's going to be very, very big deal if they can go out there and win. Because I think that you beat a Boston team that was shorthanded in game 1. Now you got to prove you can do it in game 2. Phillies. I got to get to the Phillies here for a bit, because we're going to dig deep into the PGA Championship with Reid Fowler from DraftKings coming up in about 16 minutes from now. Rory McIlroy is still on top of the leaderboard right now. He shot a blistering -5 to start the tournament, and no one's been able to get to that number since he hit that. So I'm very curious to see how this plays out over this weekend. We'll talk with Reid Fowler more about that. But I got to get to the Phillies here, because I think this was a very disappointing series for the Phils. You know, you come off of this 5 out of 7 road trip. You get a day off. Gotta, readjust to Eastern time zone, get back in the groove, hit the reset button, and then you lose 2 out of 3 at home to the Padres. You lose 3-0, you lose 2-0, and you won 3-0. Something's going on with this offense. It seems like if Harper's not in the lineup, they don't really have what is it? They don't have the juice, they don't have the focus. I don't know what it is. You can't get shut out twice in a series of 3 games. It to me, it's unacceptable not to score at least a couple runs. You know, your pitching staff over a 3-game stretch, a pitching staff that many of you out there who are Phillies fans have been critical of. You saw the Mariners games. You saw the Dodgers games. People were losing their minds about, oh my goodness, Kyle Gibson gave up all these runs. Oh man, the bullpen blew this game. Your pitching staff in a 3-game stretch allowed only 5 runs total in 3 games. That's less than 2 runs a game. And yet still could have won one more game in this series. I really hope that this is just they ran into a buzzsaw kind of situation. I really hope that that's what the issue is. Because before Harper went and had to get this shot in his arm, right? This thing to treat his elbow injury in his right arm. Think about what the Phillies had done offensively with Harper in the lineup this month alone. Phillies score 8 runs, 12 runs, 9 runs, 4 runs, 4 runs, 9 runs, 1 run. That was back on May 8th, by the way. That was thinking of a doubleheader. Before that, they scored 3 runs, 7 runs, 1 run back on May 4th. Before that, 4 runs, and before that, 6 runs. So there were 2 games in the entire month of May before Harper had to leave with the shot in his arm. There were 2 games they scored 1 run, I should say. Every other game, they were putting up pretty good run numbers. They were getting on the board. They were scoring. Since Harper had to be kicked from the lineup because he had to get this injection into his elbow to help deal with the recovery for him. So you're talking about the Dodgers game on Sunday that they lost 5-4. Then they lose 3-0. Then they win 3-0. Then they lose 2-0. So the entire time of month of May, the Phillies have 2 games with Harper in the lineup all month that they only scored 1 run. 2 games. The rest of the month, they were scoring well. Harper's not in the lineup. Sunday's game, they put up 4 runs. Since then, they scored a total of 3. That's 7 runs in a 4-game stretch without Bryce Harper. 7 in 4 games. It's unacceptable. I told you guys before, I don't think people appreciate Harper enough in this town. You watch the national media, you watch MLB Network, you watch some of the big analysts out there when it comes to the Phillies, the topic is always, man, Harper's great. Harper's amazing. Harper's might be better than last year. And yet, what are we doing? We're complaining about Girardi and the bullpen and the pitching staff. Guess what? The pitching staff did their job the last few days. But Girardi and his analytics buddies keep shuffling this lineup like we're rolling dice at the Atlantic City Casino. These lineups are not working. I don't understand this obsession that they have with running out these lineups the way they are. I'm done. I'm out on this. I mean, this whole thing with one game, Hoskins at the top of the lineup and, one game Castellanos at the top of the lineup. I'm not a fan of this. I think that this is part of the problem. You got to find a lineup, put it in stone, and stop rolling the dice every night. Find what works and run with it. Look, you go back to the last game they scored more than 3 runs. That Dodgers loss on Sunday. And you think about the lineup. Look, Hoskins was the leadoff guy, but he only went 1 for 4 in the game. Yeah, he had 2 RBI, but he went 1 for 4. It's not like he was an amazing leadoff hitter in that situation. You look through the rest of that lineup and you realize that it's not like they were amazing in that game. They were respectable. They had 8 hits in the night. But since then, they scored 3 runs. 4 runs on Sunday, 3 runs on Wednesday, no runs today, no runs on Tuesday. I don't care what the analytics say. I don't care what Girardi's excuse is after the game. It's unacceptable to be like this. So I hope Harper comes back soon, because it seems like the only thing that can get this team back on track is Harper, because whatever Girardi and his coaches are doing, it ain't working. And it's become an absolute dumpster fire disaster. It's just ridiculous to me. Josh Hennig here on GameNight on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City. You can join the conversation on the text board at 609-403-0973. 609-403-0973. You can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City. By the way, I'm disappointed. A couple of days ago, for those who are listening, I heard from that Celtics fan for 2 days in a row. Celtics lose game 1. I haven't heard from the guy since. I was kind of hoping, he might come back for, to join the conversation with us. Come on, Mark. I know you're out there somewhere. I was enjoying the back and forth for you, but you decided to run away and not have the conversation anymore. Listen, you guys text in, and I enjoy these conversations with you guys. I really do. But, if you're a diehard Celtics fan, you're ripping me because I think the Heat are going to win the series, or because I think the Heat are going to win game 1, and then the Heat win game 1. You can't just run away and hide. It's kind of sad. As I mentioned, we're going to do the PGA Championship with Reid Fowler coming up in about 6 minutes from now. Right now, Rory McIlroy still holds the lead, -5. Zalatoris is -4. Matt Kuchar is at -3. A couple guys are still on the leaderboard that you probably haven't heard of. But I want to focus really quick on McIlroy being at -5. Because he's in the same pairing with Woods and with Spieth. And I got to tell you guys, I am shocked that it seems like all the people who played earlier in the day got all the good scores, and everybody now is just struggling to keep up. I mean, you got Justin Thomas, and he's at -1, but he's on the 14th hole. It's not like he's blistering the course right now. And this could be a big weekend if Rory can be competitive, because I think that Rory is the kind of player that people can get behind. We don't talk a lot about Rory because Rory has been so inconsistent. This is a guy who it felt like he was going to be one of the next stars in the golf game, right? It really felt like he was going to be a guy who was going to go out there and just blow everybody away. He won the PGA in 2012 and 2014, the US Open in 2011, the British Open in 2014. and then he hasn't won a major since. And it's like, it's 8 years later, and you're wondering, well, what happened to Rory, right? It's amazing that the guy is now 33 years old, and basically the last time he won a major, he was 26 years old. Now, it's not like he hasn't won anything since then, right? He was the PGA Player of the Year in 2019, right? You know, he's one of the money winners that year, right? He was one of the money leaders, I should say, in 2019. He won the FedEx Cup 2019. You know, he's won numerous, tournaments since then on the PGA and the European Tour. So it's not like he hasn't done anything for the last 7-8 years, but this is the kind of guy that people got excited about years ago. Scottie Scheffler is the world number one right now. But I don't know if the casual fan looks at Scottie Scheffler the same way that they look at a Rory McIlroy or a Jordan Spieth or a Brooks Koepka or a Bryson DeChambeau. People want their golfers with a little more pizzazz and personality and flair. And I'm starting to wonder, if Rory wins this weekend, could this be the guy that people kind of latch on to for the rest of the golf season? We'll ask Reid Fowler about that from DraftKings. Coming up next on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City. I'm Josh Hennig, and this is Game Night.
Wake up with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Coming up Friday, we look back on Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals as we'll find out what Jimmy Butler does for an encore and which Jason Tatum shows up. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, Friday at 6 a.m. Eastern.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Listen weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
Every vehicle, one dime down.
At the all-new Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City. SpringfieldMitsu.com.
By now, you know that sound. It's the sound of the Home Depot. But what about those sounds? Those are the sounds of a brand new ice maker dropping cubes into a fresh glass of water, making this the sound of savings on top brand appliances. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. Save up to 30% off select appliances. Valid May 19th through June 8th. Gas range extra. While supplies last. See store for details.
At Progressive, you can get 24/7 protection, even if you break the space-time continuum.
Ted, wake up. Huh? You look exactly like me. I am you, Ted, from the future. You need to call Progressive. What? Why? Well, they have 24/7 protection when you bundle your home and auto. And my teleportation cube just smashed into your car. Wait, you crashed into my car? Technically, it's our car.
Progressive offers more than a great price when you bundle home and auto. We offer round-the-clock protection, which literally means anytime. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Hear ye, hear ye. Thanks for coming to the town square. First, I'd like to tell you about Steve. He's a plumber. I hear he does good work. Also, Tim. He's this new thing called a dentist. Oh, and Monica, she has a new vegan restaurant. I didn't even know that was a thing yet. Anyway, if you need those things, just wander around town and try to find them because the internet hasn't been invented yet, so I don't know.
This isn't the olden days. Now, word of mouth has gone online. At Town Square, South Jersey, we can show you how to harness the power of your existing word of mouth and amplify it online. Go to townsquarelocal.com for a free local customer analysis where you can see how many local customers in South Jersey you could reach online. Visit townsquarelocal.com and be the Town Square today. That's townsquarelocal.com.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
Spilled your milkshake? Quick, the quicker picker upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand. So you can get back to your milkshake.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
Bounty, the quicker picker upper.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can save just by being you. DriveWise and the Allstate mobile app gives you personalized driving feedback. And by adding it to your policy, you can save for driving safe just by being yourself. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings based on DriveWise and other safe driving discounts. Savings vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Save thousands at Matt Blatt Kia. Get out of your old trade today, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Go to mattblattkianj.com for more details. That's mattblattkianj.com.
It's gotta be
Matt Blatt Kia.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
We'll check with you guys and your thoughts and comments in just a bit on the text board, 609-403-0973. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. As you've been hearing throughout the day here on 97.3 ESPN, our PGA updates throughout the day. Of course, you can hear the full final round of the PGA this Sunday at 2 p.m. coverage here on 97.3 ESPN. And while there was talk about Tiger this week, it was the guy in his group that blistered the course today. It was Rory McIlroy, who holds the -5 lead after day one. And it seems like that he's in a pretty good position to be contending all weekend long. We'll ask about it next. Reid Fowler from DraftKings joins us. Talk more about the 2022 PGA, which is in Oklahoma this weekend. Reid, how you doing today?
Good, Josh. Yeah, it's watching it right now. It's a little bit of a bloodbath for this afternoon wave with some big names. But yeah, Rory came out 4 birdies in a row in his opening 9, which he started on the back, and 7 birdies total with a couple of bogeys. So it could have been even better for Rory. Usually a slow starter, right? We saw that at Augusta National. And sure enough, I bet him at Augusta National, slow starter, does it all on Sunday, comes in second place. Don't bet Rory this week, fast starter, and now in first place. So good to see Rory back into form. It's not surprising at all when he hits his wedges this well.
I'll get to Rory in a minute, but I want to ask you, what do you think is the biggest reason why it seems like the morning tee times are doing better than the afternoon tee time guys?
Yeah, well, the wind predominantly is the big thing, right, Josh? The standard, I think what the standard wind right now is 5 to 10 miles per hour more, right, than it was in the morning wave, and the gusts are about 50 miles per hour more than it was in the morning wave. And when you get small greens that can play hard because it gets hot and the wind blows, right, so it dries them out. When you get those small greens and you have to get them that close and it's a long course and you're hitting, for these guys, 4 or 5 irons from, 200 plus yards, it's tough to hold those greens, and it's difficult around these greens. And so if you're not extremely acute with your irons, you have to be really strong around the green. And that's a mental strain on these guys if they have to do it every single hole. So guys like Cantlay, who I think believes that at 4 over, DJ is at 2 over. Brooks is at, I think, 59 over. But, you're seeing these guys struggle if they're not hitting their irons extremely well in the afternoon.
Do you think this is going to be an issue throughout the weekend, potentially, that it's going to become a more and more precise hitter kind of weekend?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, look who's leading right now, right? It's Rory, who's fantastic in ball striking, right? Especially off the tee. It's such a strength of his. It's such an advantage when you can hit 340 in the middle of the fairway. And when you're hitting your wedges that well, you can get it close. You can put more spin on these, on your approach shots into these small greens. And he's making some putts. Like Will Zalatoris, the same thing, right? Every single week, Will Zalatoris is tops and tee to green and ball striking, but he just can't putt. Well, he made a lot of putts this week. But predominantly, you're seeing the guys, even Matt Kuchar, someone that I liked for a first round leader bet, and I still have a top 10 on Matt Kuchar, so I'm crossing my fingers that he stays there. But his ball striking hit some of his best ball striking rounds last week and leading into this. Now you're seeing that right now. So, Cam Smith, the same thing, right? You saw that on the back 9 for him, or the coming in 9 for him, is his ball striking was better than it was in the front 9. So it's going to be predominantly a ball striker. I mean, that's every week, right, Josh? But this week specifically, the guys who can scramble, right, especially for 4 days, because you can scramble on day one and it can feel pretty good. It's the fatigue that sets in. That's probably what Tiger is feeling a little bit. The fatigue kind of, it on the back nine for him kind of set in, and he finished at 4 over par.
You mentioned Tiger. Do you think he can bounce back and still make the cut here, or do you think he's buried himself too much?
Oh, Tiger's never out. And you hear in his pressers, even when he was, 15 shots off the lead, like 7, 8 shots off the lead at Augusta, he's like, as long as I put a good round in, right, we have a chance. And that's what Tiger is. You always have a chance. And this is the thing, too, we were talking about pre-tournament, is that his tee draw right now, morning, AM, PM, is the one you want for Tiger specifically. Go out early, get the leg ready, and then rest after your round, get as much rest, and then go out in the afternoon. Look, it's going to be windier in the afternoon, but it's Tiger Woods, right? It's Tiger Woods. He's won on this course before, not this same iteration, but it's Tiger. You can never count him out. So, yeah, I still think he can make a cut here.
I got to say, though, I'm surprised that John Daly is a better scorer right now than Tiger Woods. I mean, what on earth is going on there? I mean, I didn't even know Daly was teeing up until I saw the pairings last night. I was like, oh, there's Daly. Look at him,
Well, yeah, I mean, if you win the PGA, which he did, I believe, in 91, it's the same as Augusta, same as the Masters. If you win the PGA, you have a lifetime invitation to play this major tournament. And so John Daly, the guy who you look at in the early 90s, party in the front, or the business in the front, party in the back. This is what he can do. Look, and that's why this tournament is so great. Wai Yang, right, beat Tiger in the early 2000s. You see John Daly for a hot minute hold the lead at this golf tournament and play really well. It's because he went out early and he was hitting his irons extremely well, and he's making putts. That's what you can do here.
DraftKings PGA analyst Reid Fowler joining us here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of CLC, at Reid T. Fowler on Twitter. Don't forget, you can catch all the PGA updates throughout the day, today and tomorrow and Saturday here on 97.3 ESPN FM, and then full coverage of the final round Sunday at 2 p.m. on 97.3 ESPN, along with some more coverage on Saturday at 4 here on 97.3 ESPN. Reid, let's zero in on Rory, because, this is a guy who came on the scene like a firestorm. He was winning majors. He hasn't won a major in 7, 8 years?
It's crazy.
Right? I never thought that, 26-year-old, 25-year-old Rory felt like he was the next guy. And then it's just like, now he's 33 and he's almost like a forgotten man sometimes.
Right, exactly. And I mean, now you're seeing Rory. He went runner-up right at the Masters with an amazing Sunday, top 5 at the Wells Fargo, which was difficult, but not this, in terms of this difficult. And now he's leading, right? Like you mentioned it, Josh. His last, I'm just checking here. I believe his last thing was 2000, and like you mentioned, 13 or 6. I think it was 2000. Yeah, 14 was the PGA. That's the last time he's won. Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson have won a major more recently than JT and Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth, right? That's something crazy to think about. And especially Rory, who plays his game translates everywhere, right? He's solid off the tee. We know this. He misses some crazy putts, but for the most part, tee to green, he's fantastic. And when you kind of let go, you saw with Sergio Garcia when he won at the Masters, Rory, after that runner-up at Augusta, he's like, you know what? It's a great round. I'll be here every single year trying to do the career Grand Slam. When you kind of let go, right, Josh, especially these guys in golf, that's when things start to happen. And we're kind of seeing that with Rory right now.
Do you think that him being in the same pairing as Spieth and Woods may have aided him in shooting this well, or is this just a byproduct of him finding a groove and riding it?
A little bit. I wouldn't say 0%, right? The guy's a competitor. Every single one of these guys are alpha males. And, especially playing with your idol, right? Every single person who grew up in the 80s and 90s, Tiger Woods was your idol if you're a golfer. Or for the most part, I won't say everybody, but for the most part. And when you get to play and compete against and then beat that player, right? And again, there's a lot of golf left, and that's gonna be a little bit. But at the same time, I would probably put that under the 10% category, Josh, and 90% of it is Tiger. I mean, I would say 95% of it, right? 5% gamesmanship, 95% Rory playing really well, gained 5 strokes on approach at the Wells Fargo, 3.2 on the greens. And you take a look at what he did at Augusta, gaining 14.5 strokes total. It was fantastic. He put on a clinic, a masterclass on Sunday of how to attack a long, American style golf course, which Southern Hills currently is.
I currently have a bet over on DraftKings Sportsbook on Rory.
Ooh.
So I'm feeling good right now, but how good should somebody feel if they do have a winning or a top 5 or a top 10 wager on Rory right now, you think?
Yeah, you should feel good. You should feel really good because after 36 holes, I'll say this, you should feel better than worse, right? You should feel better than what you usually do when you have an outright with Rory on day one at a major, because usually is a slow starter. But you should feel really good, Josh, if he's in the lead or if he's tied for the lead, or at least, in the final group on Saturday. Because if you take a look at the leaders at this tournament after 36 holes, they usually go on to win this golf tournament. Not saying that's going to happen this week, but especially at this course, you're seeing it right now. There's not a lot of birdie opportunities. Last week, if you made par, you were losing strokes to the field. This week, if you're making par, you're gaining 0.3, 0.4 strokes on the field. And those pars add up, obviously, right? So if he can do that, if he can hold serve, maybe go 2 under, right, John? 2 under tomorrow, 1 under, be at 6 or 7. He's going to be in a really, really good spot, because I think this major is probably going to be won at the most at 10 under, probably in the single digits.
Talk to us about Will Zalatoris. He's a guy who's been hanging around in these majors. Hasn't won one yet, but it feels like every major, he's right there in that conversation. And right now, he's right behind Rory.
Yeah, unbelievable, right? I mean, 6th at the Masters. If you take a look at what he did last year, you mentioned it. He was runner-up to Hideki Matsuyama in the Masters. It's only a matter of time. I've bet Will Zalatoris every single week, but for whatever reason, Galaxy Brain Reid here did not bet Will Zalatoris. And what does he do? He actually finds his putter, right? Happy Gilmore's caddy learned how to putt. And that's, look, 4 points. He's lost in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight tournaments with this putter, right? So you think, oh, it might be a little bit tough for Big Willie Z. No, absolutely not. This guy's draining putts all over the place. And if he does that, his ball striking is so good that if he's draining 15, 20-foot putts, he's going to be he hasn't won a tournament yet. So him winning this as his first major and his first tournament is going to be something else. And I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be very disappointed in myself, but very proud of Will Zalatoris, because he's a star in the making.
DraftKings PGA analyst Reid Fowler joining us here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN 2022 PGA Championship. You can hear all the updates today, tomorrow, and Saturday and Sunday here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Right now, Rory McIlroy topped the leaderboard -5. Mr. Zalatoris at -4. By the way, and tied for 4th is Matt Kuchar at -3. I want to ask you about the guy who I feel like half the world has a bet on. It might be Scotty Scheffler. Even through 14 holes right now, I know he's a hot commodity for a lot of people out there. Maybe not the biggest bet, not the guy who put 20,000 on Tiger. I think that guy is probably crying in his pillow right now. But, there's a lot of people who said, hey, Scheffler's a favorite. There's some value there. Why don't I just roll the dice on him? And right now, he's even par.
Mm-hmm. And that's not a bad score. I'd say the guys who are within, definitely if you're in red numbers, you're feeling really good about yourself. If you're at even par, you're feeling great. Even if you're at 1 to 2 over, you're still in this, right? That's still 7 shots off the lead in a major golf tournament. That's not bad at all. And when you take a look at what his outright is right now, he's at plus 1,400, 2 points higher than he was pre-tournament at plus 1,200. That's when you talk about live betting, that's the stuff you want to take a look at. Scotty Scheffler had I think the only eagle on, I think it was number 6, that par 5, number 5, that's 665 yards I think he's the only eagle on that hole, and he birdied number 10. He's just 3 bogeys on the card. That's not bad. He gets the morning wave too, Josh. Right? He went out in the afternoon. Tomorrow he gets the morning wave. We know what this guy can do, and he can do it multiple ways. He can do it with his irons, and he can do it around the greens. He's chipping in from bunkers and from around the greens leading into this tournament. I don't see why. This is his favorite course, so he knows that if he gets in trouble, that he can get out of it at his favorite course. So I'm not too worried. If you like Scotty Scheffler, I mean, right now this is actually a good score. Him getting bogeys, it's normal. It's normal at this course. If he gets doubles, then you have to worry about it, but it's normal. Even par is a great score right now.
You mentioned the guys in the red. Is there somebody currently in the red, or maybe a guy or two that you watch way more golf than people like me? I mean, I watch golf, but you watch golf, So, is there a guy in the red right now that you're saying, a guy or two that you're like, let me tell you something. If this guy gets a couple of birdies, watch out.
Yeah, Cameron Smith. Cameron Smith had 7 birdies today and finished, I believe, at 2 or 3 under. I think 2 under.
2 under, yeah.
Yeah. 7 birdies and finishing at 2 under and missing putts that he usually doesn't. That's where you want to, like, especially for the best one of the best putters on the PGA Tour right now. That's where you say, okay, I know he's going to go out in the afternoon tomorrow, but he's someone that could easily have been at 5 under right now with Rory. If he didn't get that double bogey, he'd be at 5 under, right? And it was a silly double. If you watched it, he chili dipped his chip, put it to like the rough right above the bunker, and then nozzle rocketed his, not a rocket, but like basically had another chili dip with his chip because it was a terrible stance, and he missed the 18-foot putt. So like if that doesn't happen, he's at 5 under par. So again, he's 3 back of Rory, but he's probably someone right now that him and Matthew Fitzpatrick, right? Those are the 2 guys at 2 under par that have already entered, that have already finished, that I'd be looking at after.
All right, before I let you go, Reid, you're the golf aficionado here. How are you consuming the content? Because it feels like you got the regular feed on ESPN, you got the ESPN Plus where you can kind of catch each specific group, and then you have the Manning cast with Buck and Collins over there on the Plus and ESPN too. So are you sampling a little of each, or are you kind of zeroing in on a specific kind of coverage? What's Reid Fowler doing here?
So I look at this, Josh, as a smorgasbord, right? If I have many options at the buffet line, if I'm in the executive suite and I have options of, a hot dog, maybe a burger, maybe some dessert before my main meal, I'm going to sample everything. And I've worked with Collins. He's fantastic. So, I'm showing my love to Collins and Buck. I think what they're trying to do is fantastic. Is the Manning cast for golf. Those 2 guys, especially Collins, belongs on that broadcast because he's hilarious.
With the neon green shoes.
Oh, absolutely. He's fantastic. But yeah, I'm sampling everything, especially why this is great. And this is where our industry is going, right, Josh, is that if you have outrights on Rory, if you have bets on Cam Smith, Hideki, Finau, whoever it is, you can watch every single shot. Maybe that's too much. Maybe if you're like me, you live and die by every shot, which is silly. Sometimes you have to step away. But I want to see everything. I'm not going to only sequester myself to the main feed. I want to see everything, man. I want to experience it all. So I'm going on the PGA Championship app, which is not as good as the Masters. Sorry, but I'm also looking at every single feed, man. I want it all.
Gotcha. Little kick to the curb there. You threw in there.
Hey man, you get everybody. The Masters app should be the industry standard. It is so good, especially the majors, because that's what you only have to worry about is your tournament. And if your app doesn't, rival the Masters app, then I'm going to call it out. Be better.
Nice. Yeah. The funny thing with Collins is I like the fact they put him with Buck, because Buck has become this self-deprecating guy.
Right.
So it allows them for I saw them do the pre thing on SportsCenter earlier today, and Buck basically was like, I'm a nobody here. People are tuning in to watch Collins, he's immediately throwing himself under the bus. You gotta love that. You gotta love the guy who realizes, look, I'm just here for the ride,
Yeah. SVP would probably be my only other guy that I want to see on the Manny cast, but he was doing the main feed, I think, this morning. So like he'd probably be the only other guy because even watching his stuff late at night, he's fantastic. One big thing. Or I think it's one big thing, right? That's his thing at the end.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, right? And he writes all his own stuff. So I wouldn't mind seeing him on one of those things, but he might be too much. He might be everywhere, right? Hard to get this guy to sit down for 8 hours to broadcast, even though he started in golf. He started the golf channel. So
that's true. Yeah. I know that it's him and Duval are like one of the feeds, like they're part of like the rotation of like people at the desk with the main coverage. So from what I understand, if I remember correctly, I think that the way they're starting it is that everybody is like on the plus feeds, and then later they're brought into the main feed, basically.
Right. Yep. So, exactly.
Which is an interesting parlay, because what you're doing is you're allowing people to say, we'll get you on the app, we'll get you on the regular TV, we'll get you on this, we'll get you on that. And to me, it's a win-win, because like you said, people want content.
Oh, absolutely. And live sports is, it's the gem, right? It is that's what everyone clamors after. You can produce as much content before, and after, but the live sport, the event itself, is gold. And you got to make sure that you keep people on there, right? And that's what we do at ESPN Plus. That's what these guys are doing with showing all the golf. And people want it. People have been complaining and clamoring for more golf. Well, here you are. Here's all the golf. Keep on watching it, because it's still going on right now on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, I just saw Scheffler drop a great shot onto the green there.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So I'll let you get back to consuming all the content you can, because let me know. I'm invested this weekend. I'm not always the most invested guy in the PGA Championship, but I just love how this drama is painting out, and you people like you got me suckered in, so I'm there, man.
Good, Josh. And yeah, hopefully, if my tickets don't win, I'm gonna live vicariously through you, Josh.
Well, I'll keep you updated. Okay,
Thanks, bud.
If I pull through, I'll tag it on Twitter, and
good
people can give me the thumbs up or whatever, or maybe they can curse me out. I don't know.
Yeah,
he's Reid Fowler. Follow him on Twitter at Reid T Fowler for all your PGA and NFL coverage with DraftKings Sportsbook. Reid, appreciate you jumping on today.
All right, thanks for having me, Josh.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM. Yes, PGA coverage all day today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. Begins around 11 o'clock in the morning. We got you updates every hour. Sunday, we'll have the full final round of coverage of the 2022 PGA Championship. And then we'll also have coverage as well on Saturday for part of the third round as well. All right here on 97.3 ESPN FM. You're home for the Eagles, the Sixers, the Flyers, the NBA playoffs. We had Masters updates. We got you covered for the PGA Championship. We got you, everything you could need. Primetime NFL, Flyers hockey during the Flyers season, all covered right here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. It's free thanks to First Bank of Seattle City.
The Eastern Conference Finals continue on ESPN Radio.
3-point territory on the way. Butter! Gabe Vincent from deep.
The Miami Heat stay red hot with a huge Game 1 win at home. Now the Celtics look to respond and get the critical split in Miami before the series heads to Boston. Game 2 of the Celtics and Heat. Coverage begins tonight at 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Listen to the NBA playoffs exclusively on 97.3 ESPN.
It's one thing to build a truck. It's another to build a legacy. The Ford F-150, the only truck with an available class-exclusive Pro Power onboard generator, the only one with an available work surface in the front and the back, and the only one that is part of the F-Series lineup that has been the best-selling pickup for 45 straight years. Now you can get special incentives when you build to order a new F-150. Inventory is arriving daily, so hurry in for best selection. Get to your local Ford store today.
Welcome to Total Wine and More. I'm on cooler duty this weekend. Fill it up with seltzers and canned cocktails.
Oh, wow, great prices.
Find what you love what you find. At Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Let's plan on having concessions over there.
Mike is remodeling the old family drive-in movie theater.
Go find Gavin. Tell him the sound team is here.
He'll need a new front-of-house cast and behind-the-scenes crew.
Hey, can we talk staffing real quick? I'm thinking at least 6 per shift.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
O'Reilly. If your vehicle squeals or grinds when you slow down or just isn't stopping like it used to, you may need new brake rotors and pads. Now through May 24th at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get 15% off a set of Brake Best Select or Import Direct brake pads and 2 rotors. Restore safe braking and save money now at O'Reilly Auto Parts or order online at O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
It's official. Summer is almost here. The sun is getting brighter, the days are getting longer, and your yard is ready for some love. Make sure your flower beds and bushes can handle the heat with special savings on Earthgrow mulch. Keep the sun off your soil and water in the ground, plus add a fun pop of color that will last up to 12 months. Hurry in. Earthgrow mulch, 5 bags for just $10. Feels like Memorial Day at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Valid May 19th to 30th. In-store only. Color selection varies by store. Limit 75 per customer.
Hey, y'all, this is your girl, Cheryl Underwood, and I want to tell you something. My digestive system used to make me feel sluggish, but those days are over. Now I feel great. That's because I increased my fiber intake with the Metamucil 2-week challenge, and I'm still hooked. I just took Metamucil every day for 14 days, and it's really that easy. Metamucil traps and removes the waste that weighs you down, so you feel lighter and more energetic. Now I never want to go back to that heavy feeling. Are you ready for the Metamucil 2-week challenge? For a coupon and daily support, sign up at Metamucil.com today.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you have to drive 300 miles to your cousin's wedding. Okay, so it's his 4th. But you know what they say, 4th time's the charm. Well, here's the problem. Your tires are as bald as I am. But lucky for you, eBay Motors has tires for just about every make and model. Plus wheels, lug nuts, jack stands, and more. 122 million parts. Do they have tissues? Oh, good, because I'm definitely a crier. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
We get it. You're not going to work just anywhere. You're smart, you're ambitious, and you want to help others. You want a place where you can thrive, feel fulfilled, and have an opportunity for growth, all while making an incredible living. Right now is the perfect time to join the team at Town Square Media as a marketing consultant. Join one of the fastest growing digital companies in America where you get to help build client solutions with real local influencers and sell brands like TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. If this sounds exciting to you, let's have a conversation. Our comp package is amazing with unlimited earning potential, including base salary, mobile phone, auto expense, 401k match, trip incentives, and more. If you're competitive, driven, and have the ability to communicate great ideas, we'd love to hear from you. With digital advertising expected to double over the next 3 years, the timing could not be better. Reach out to Mike Rubel, Market President, at 609-910-5249 or visit careers.townsquaremedia.com. Town Square Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Game Night being brought to you by the AC Airport. Plan your summer vacation now. Spirit Airlines is offering nonstop flights from Atlantic City International Airport to Boston, Atlanta, San Juan, Miami, and other exciting destinations. Visit spirit.com to get started scheduling your summer vacation today. Josh Hennig hanging out with you here for a little bit longer here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Don't forget, coming up tonight, 8 p.m. coverage of the Eastern Conference Finals, Game 2, Celtics and Heat. All signs point to it's going to be Horford and Marcus Smart both back in the lineup tonight. So I'm going to go under the assumption that I think Boston finds a way to win tonight. I always said this was going to be a 6-7 game series. I think that game 1, Miami won in part because of the massive third quarter and the fact that their defense was unrelenting in the second half. I think that with Horford testing negative 3 times in the last 24 hours, he should be good to go. It's one of those deals where I think that this series is going to be about adjustments. I think these are two of the best tactical head coaches in the NBA today, Udoka and Spoelstra. I think these are both high IQ basketball guys. They're really smart. They know the game. And I genuinely think that this is going to be a series of adjustments. I think that when you look at this series, I think that the Celtics win tonight, and then Miami wins game 3, and then game 4 will be about who's healthy and who's not, and it'll be about, things like that. That's how I feel the series going to go so far, because I think this is going to be a series of adjustments, and both sides are just going to keep adjusting to each other the entire time. I wouldn't be surprised if Miami wins tonight because they're undefeated at home this postseason. I just think that Marcus Smart and Horford are going to have an impact on this game tonight, and it's going to be big. I think that Miami's going to have to readjust moving forward how to handle this. So I think that's going to be a very interesting game tonight. By the way, still no Kyle Lowry. He was ruled out as well. So, Lowry with the hamstring issue, who knows when exactly that's going to get better. There's no guarantee that Lowry even plays in this series. Let's be realistic. It's one of those things where you kind of have to, play it as you go along and see how this series plays out. So, Eastern Conference, Game 2 tonight. Western Conference, Game 2 tomorrow night. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. tonight on 97.3 ESPN FM. And as I mentioned, we'll have PGA updates throughout the day. Another one coming out I think about 30 minutes from now. We got it. And then tomorrow, all day into the evening, PGA updates. And then we'll have you coverage over the weekend. It's ironic that I picked Rory to win, not because he's leading right now, but because I picked him to win based on advice Reid Fowler gave me on this show about 2 years ago. Reid had always said that, if you're someone who either bets sports, does sports betting, or you pick games on the radio like I do, one of the things you got to do is you got to stick to your bread and butter. If you have a system, you have a strategy, if you have something that works for you, you got to stick to it. Excuse me. So my theory is I'm a big believer in there should always be a guy who fits a certain criteria when it comes to success. My theory was I knew Rory and Tiger are really good. They're really tight. And I felt that, Rory looks up to him, and him playing with Tiger, it's going to work on him a little bit. And he's going to be able to feed off of that. Well, I was wrong about it in the Masters. I thought that Tiger's playing partner would do well at the Masters. Didn't happen. And I said, well, look, I have a tried and true formula. I'm going to stick with it. And I thought I picked Rory. Doesn't mean I'm going to be right, because, for me, my bigger thing is I've always felt that, Scheffler, Rahm, McIlroy, Spieth, all these guys, I always felt they would finish in the top 10, right? And it could still happen. But, Zalatoris is a guy you got to keep an eye on because that guy just seems to hang around every major. One of these majors, he's going to win it. He's going to take a major one of these days, and everyone's going to be, sweating that day. I think Zalatoris is incredibly talented, He's one of these guys who just comes in like a hurricane and just is able to take things. And Scheffler is now -1. He's on the 16th hole right now. It's going to be interesting to see. And that was not a very good shot right there. He dropped it into the bunker right in front of the green. So one great shot for Scheffler and one not so good shot right after it. So interesting to keep an eye on. Tiger Woods, he's at +4, but you heard Reid Fowler tell us earlier that he thinks Tiger still has time to scratch his way back into it. Listen, if Tiger can take the success he had early in the rounds today and use it for tomorrow, there's a possibility that he makes the cut and he's, still walking the course this weekend. I mean, looking at the scores right now, I don't know what the projected cutoff is going to be, but I mean, I'm looking at what does ESPN say the projected cut is going to be? Do they have that listed yet? No, I don't see it yet. But I'm going to be curious to see what the cut number is going to be. I'm going to assume right now the projected cut is probably going to be +5 at least. It might even be +4, honestly. Tiger's got to get out of that +4 range in order to be. If Tiger walks out with a +1 tomorrow, overall, I think he's walking the weekend. All right, thanks again to Reid Fowler from DraftKings joining us earlier today. I'll be back tomorrow at 6. Sports Bash, 2 p.m. tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.